am going to introduce, so many buttons to click over here. I'm going to introduce Taylor from Boomset. Taylor, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Liz. And sorry, of course, my dog has perfect timing. So hopefully he calms down, but
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. So thank you. It's great to be back with techsytalk. We were here last year, but I am the only one on camera this year. If you have questions throughout, please put them in the chat. I have a very active group in there. Monica's already in there. You're going to see some others. We're usually very, very active. So the thing is, when you think about Boomset, you're going to think about easy, okay? And I want you to think about that because all of these parts of the event planning process are super complicated and they're only getting more complicated, right? We're learning about new acronyms all the time. VPNs that we didn't have to worry about, we're worrying about. And so when you think about Boomset, we're going to try and take all those complicated things and make them a little bit easier for you. I'd love to move into registration now. Cool. So there's a couple of things I want to really mention about registration that are meant to make, again, things easy. One is we don't charge per registrant. We charge for your usage. So if you have 900 people that register and do not attend, you don't need to pay for them. So our pricing model obviously is a little bit attendee focused, and we can get into that at any point. But really, the zero commission on registration, I think, is a very important thing for all of you from a planning perspective. The other two things about registration that are important for you are brandability. So brandability is, sorry about that as well. Brandability is super possible in our own platform. So if you want to have your own logos and branding and kind of host things on our platform, that is totally possible and doable. But let's say you want to do something on your own website or something more robust, maybe have APIs or webhooks involved. Our online registration also allows for that. So we're meant to be as flexible as possible while still providing the baseline things that you might need if you don't have, let's say, a super robust registration process. I'd like to move into broadcasting now, where we really focus on compatibility. You know, one of the things that I think every hybrid event and virtual event has been dealing with is like, how do we get all these things to play together? Especially as we're moving into the hybrid space where we're going to have people that are virtual speakers because we want those virtual speakers who might not be available to go and travel, as well as the in-person speakers that are going to be maybe on stage and such. We have options that are both native and integrated. So if you want to host all that stuff and give us an HLS link, one of those other acronyms that can be intimidating, you can do that with us. If you want to host it natively with Boomset, we offer a lot of those options as well. So when you think about Boomset and broadcasting, I want you to think about compatibility. I'd love to move into the next slide here. So speakers are probably the area where we start really excelling from the ease perspective. Speakers are attendees. Exhibitors are attendees. Attendees are attendees. They all really want to live in the same experience. And many companies might put a speaker in a portal that's kind of separate from the event. And that is not necessarily always ideal, right? Because a speaker might want to go and engage in other ways with the event, whether that be through exhibitors or with attendees as a community thing or other sessions. So we build the tools for speakers straight into the platform, whether that be document uploading, their green room solution, their ability to manage their session Q&A or polling, working with admins. All of that is done straight in the same experience that an attendee has. There's just literally some extra buttons. So that from a speaker perspective, speaker management, you don't have to like worry about, oh, they're over here, these people over here. It's all in one spot. Now I'd like to move into exhibitors, where we kind of provide that similar experience. Now exhibitors are obviously a more intensive group. They need all kinds of analytics. They might have staff. They might have schedules. They might want presentations. There's all kinds of things that exhibitors might need and want. For us, we give them a portal that allows them to set that up. But again, from the live event perspective, a lot of us really want people to be in the event. So you can, when you go into your, as an exhibitor, when you go to your own exhibitor booth, you can interact with the attendees that are going to your exhibitor booth. You can see who is in there as a viewer. You can see who may have scheduled meetings. You can see who might be going and browsing documents. And by doing that, you're able to, as an exhibitor, kind of focus on the people that are really interested. And that's built straight into the platform. So you don't need to like go from one tab and see your leads over here to like, you know, manage them in this other platform over here. That's all built straight into the platform. Again, focusing on the ability for an exhibitor to be kind of an attendee, have the same kind of experience. Now I'd love to move into what we've talked about a lot already, the attendee experience. And this attendee experience is essentially all the interaction features that you have already heard a little bit about: polling, surveys, Q&A, breakouts, all kinds of things. And if we don't have it, I think what sets us apart is the ability to embed with HTML elements, all kinds of other interactive experiences. So let's say you're an event with a donor thermometer. Well, that donor thermometer can be embedded into your platform. Let's say you find a special game or social wall or experience, you usually can find a way to embed that into our experience. So even if for some reason we don't have an interaction tool that you want, we can probably find a way to get it in there. And we do that very easily as well. I mean, people put in different iframes and things that we have not known about until they're using it at the event. So now I'd love to move into kind of who we serve. Lots of companies try to serve, all kinds of niches. I think when it comes to events, most people have like a lot of the same baseline needs, and we realize that. And so we serve all kinds of industries, we serve all kinds of events, and we're trying to build a platform that allows us to serve both types of people. People that need super complex things like AV and production and all kinds of stuff, multi-location setups and all kinds of hundreds of thousands of events or hundreds of thousands of attendees, all the way to maybe those smaller events where you're, a one-person shop. And that goes into why Boomset. As I kind of alluded to several times throughout, it's about making things easy. We really want this to be an experience where every single time you interact with Boomset, you say, you know what? You made my job easier. So we try to be an all-in-one platform. Of course, you want to build the native tools that everybody wants, but then, you can't build every single native tool immediately. So we offer tons of integrations, and we're very integration friendly. That way you as an organizer, you don't have to worry about like, okay, this is the best polling tool, but this has the best, this feature. You can just kind of integrate. We're talking about user friendliness. As I kind of alluded to again, we're trying the whole time to connect the experiences so it doesn't feel like a speaker, an exhibitor, an attendee is going to go through 3 different things. And now everybody's a little confused maybe in your event. By combining everything, making it cohesive, it becomes even more user-friendly. And then we think everything's very intuitive, and sorry again. We think everything's very intuitive, but our support team is there all the time to give extra recommendations. Again, when you're thinking about how to plan your event, our people have done hundreds of events, right? Thousands of events, however many it is. And we've seen all kinds of ways of increasing interaction or increasing ROI for exhibitors or, achieving whatever those goals are. Everybody's goals are different. So I can't say, that I know how to accomplish your specific goals at this exact moment, but I can almost guarantee that our team has accomplished those goals at some point. And so, I think that's all I really needed to cover. I might've been a little bit over time, so sorry about that. But ultimately you can request a demo with anybody on our team and get a special discount to credit Liz and techsytalk by mentioning techsytalk.
Awesome. Don't worry about the credit, but it would be good to know for your sake and for everyone else's where they heard about this. Thank you, Taylor. We are seeing some questions, and you do have a very active team in the chat. So I'm going to bring some of the questions on, even if they might have been addressed by your team, just because I think, verbally, maybe they are things that other people want to know. First of all, I really like what you said about speakers being attendees. And I think that piece is really important, not just separating them out. I speak a lot of events, and I know sometimes you do just want to kind of like fly into the event, do your session and be out, but that's obviously not what most event organizers would prefer. And there are times where you go into the platform, I would love to start making connections and doing things, and it's just too complicated because you're blocked in this other like weird land of speakers only. One of the questions, we are seeing big heads up to the speaker experience features, very exciting. Also seeing, this is a question that I missed the question part. This is Mackenzie from your team replying.
Okay.
What about assigning tasks to speakers within the platform? I think the answer is no, but kind of tossing it out there.
So I will tell you my background, even though I'm the revenue person at this company, my background's in project management. So this is actually near and dear to my heart. We do not currently have the specific way to assign tasks.
Okay.
But that is not something that is not on the roadmap. It's one of those things that obviously I am super passionate about putting on the roadmap. With that said, there are ways of having workarounds in our platform, and we're actually adding more ways in the future to add, say, I can't give you too much, but adding more flexibility in like properties and such that give you the ability to kind of check boxes in a way, like make sure that things happen in the platform, which is kind of like the task as well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. And then what about, we're getting a question about multilingual events. So this Facebook user says a lot of her events are trilingual. It'd be great if there's some features for that.
Yeah. So actually, this is really cool. And anybody that goes to our events generally or goes on any of our demos, they can see this. We actually have a language feature button at the top that, integrates with a language translator. So you can actually have it translate into your language with literally a click. So it's going to default, obviously, but if you want to switch it because you're a Spanish speaker and it defaulted to English or something, you can certainly do that.
Awesome. Let's see here. Nice session. I see. Annette would like to know, she may have missed this, but can you just share again about breakouts and, anything fun for, that breakout experience, which like we're seeing throughout all of this, everyone is obsessed with that in a good way.
I think breakouts is, it's such an area of events that's awesome in person and was, I think, really tough to replicate initially virtually. But yeah, for us, there are a lot of ways that you could break up sessions or breakouts. I think, and we have more plans to make it even more customizable. But as far as like, moving people around or, hopping in between sessions, as far as, having session chat or breakout chats, for example, like that's part of it. There's ways of kind of engaging room by room as an admin or as a speaker. So those are some things. But as far as like something specific fun, I'm not sure if I can speak to what I would define as fun. Sorry.
Fun is different for everyone, so that's totally okay. We'll come back to that. All right. I do have one last question, I think. We'll see if anything else comes in from attendees, but same question I'm asking everyone. Just give us a sense, please, of your pricing structure. You don't have to say numbers if you don't want, but what should people know when they're jumping into a Boomset conversation?
Yeah, so this is a really exciting time for our pricing. Exciting and probably interesting for our team. We are changing our pricing. Certainly, I will get into that a little bit. We're changing our pricing and launching it soon. I don't want to say a date, but we will be launching it more transparently. So trying to give you a little bit more insight as organizers straight onto the website. So just as an FYI there, I will give you some info right now. We have a plan, which is like a yearly plan. And then on top of that, you have like a yearly amount of credits that has a per credit cost associated with what you need. So we're an in-person solution, so it can be very cheap on the, if you don't need any virtual stuff. But as you get into things that are more technical and require more resources, your attendee per credit cost goes up. So it's not something that's super easy to tell you immediately, but you can speak to our team.
Okay, perfect. So all the contact information is right here, meaning their website. We'd be happy to connect you directly with anyone from the team if you are looking to do that. So please reach out to me if you'd like to do that, and I can make that connection. Otherwise, definitely go out to their website and fill out their form. Quick question from a Facebook user as we are wrapping up. What about latency time, or how does the streaming piece work in the platform itself?
Okay. We integrate with a native streaming provider. I don't know the specific latency time. I do not want to say it and then mess up, to be honest. But I know that our CEO he's one of those kind of tech nerds that really cares about that stuff. Like, I love him for it. So he's talked about latency before. So I'm sure that whatever the situation is, I'm sure it's way above board. But I don't want to quote myself.
All right. It looks like Mackenzie's in here backing you up too. So it looks like she's saying about 30 seconds when using any form of RTMP. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
The benefit of having multiple team members. All right. Thank you so much, Taylor, for joining us today. If there are any additional questions, please do put them in the chat because their team is there answering in real time. And we really appreciate you guys showcasing all that you have to offer. And we'll see much more of Boomset, I'm sure, in the techsytalk community over the next couple of months. So thank you very much for your time today.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz.